Hi everyone, today's video is entirely dedicated to your projects, specifically your projects from the recent code jam, which we had on Discord. So if you guys are interested at SQLAlchemy, Tkinter, Dash, Flask, Pygame, and even Next.js and React, definitely stay tuned. I'm going to show you some incredible examples of fully functional applications using all of them. And we will begin with our mystery team, which created the LockBox. Now, the LockBox is an encrypted password manager, which both generates passwords and also keeps track of them in a very special database file saved on your computer. So inside the documentation, we can find some installation instructions, which will get you up to speed with all the requirements and all those modules you need to install in advance. You can also find some running instructions, which we will look at in just a bit, and also usage instructions with all kinds of nice screenshots and more details about navigating throughout the application. Now let's do the following. Let's go back to the main page and let's clone this repository. Then we can run the application from our computer and we can test it from the perspective of the user. So let's scroll up and let's click on code. Now here we can either copy the address of this repository or we can download it in a zip file. So if you're not a big fan of command prompt, this is probably the best bet. Now once we have stored this repository on our computer, we will copy the path of the main folder and we will paste it inside our terminal following a cd, command change directory. Now I'm using Anaconda as usual, and there you go. Once we are inside the correct folder, we will simply type python main.py. Boom! Here's our application. Now let's go ahead and use it. And I'm sure many of you guys are recognizing the Tkinter vibes here. I've covered it briefly on my channel and we will do an additional tutorial on it soon. Okay, so let's start. First, we will select a master password. In my case, I'll go for SpongeBob. I don't know why I told you what the password is. You cannot really see it, but never mind. And then we'll click on create database. Cool. And here we are prompted for the password. So SpongeBob once again and log in. Cool. And once we are logged in, the first thing we'll do is we will generate a new password. Now, what you see here is a very detailed password, which we can generate. So we can go for letters, we can go for punctuation, symbols, and digits. So let's keep everything at default and let's click on generate password. Boom, here's our super complex and super secure password. So let's go ahead and copy it. Now, in addition, we can also add passwords to our database. So let's click it. Now, the first question is the website. So let's go for www.youtube.com. Alrighty, then we are asked for the username. In my case, Python simplified. Alrighty, and then the password. And let's say that I've been using the secure password I've generated here. So let's just copy it. Let's just paste it. Sorry, guys. And let's press OK. And there you go. Our password has been added to the database and it's all being updated in real time. We can have a peek at the password. That seems very familiar. We can copy it. We can delete this password. And I wonder what this button does. Ah, it follows the website. Okay. So the last thing we didn't test yet is how to delete this password. So let's see if it works. Boom! Our password is gone from the application and from the database. Now, in terms of code, I found a very nice example in database.py. And in particular, I'm talking about SQLAlchemy, which many people were asking me about. So if you're looking for a nice example of how you can combine it in your own application, definitely check out the LockBox code. This might help you a lot. Now, our second project is in the realm of computer vision. And I'm of course talking about VMagnify, which just as it sounds, takes an image and magnifies it up to 4 times its original size and resolution. Now, once again, we are dealing with a very detailed documentation. So if you have any questions or if you need any extra details, you will probably find them here. Now let's go ahead and run this application from our computer and we will see exactly how it works. To run VMagnify, we will navigate to the project folder, which we have cloned to our computer. We will type cd and we will paste the path of the application. And even though this is a Flask application, there is a special way of calling it. Now let's go ahead and type python.exe followed by app.py. So let's give it a run. And boom, there you go. We now need to navigate to port 8050. So let's do this in our browser. So back here, we will type localhost 8050. I already have it ready. Yeah, and I'm gonna zoom out a bit. I'm usually wearing glasses. That's why everything on my monitor is extra big. Otherwise, I'm not gonna see it. Now, I don't know what shifted in the layout. I was expecting to see this, but I got this. Maybe it's only on my computer. Let me know what you see on your end. So what we have here is a demo image, and it's a perfect demo image to test because it's tiny. It's only 85 pixels by 85 pixels. So there's going to be a lot of missing pixels to fill in. It's definitely great for testing. So let's go ahead and scale it upwards. Let's scale it to ×2. Okay, that's nice. Let's scale it to ×3. Oh, wow, this is way better. So the ×3 scale is much better than the ×2 scale. Let's see how it works with ×4. Wow. Okay, this is very impressive. Now, I'm not sure that even Photoshop can reach these results. This is really, really good, you guys. I've been working with Photoshop for a very long time. I've been enlarging pictures through Photoshop, through their algorithms. I don't think they're getting anywhere near this quality. Good job, you guys. But this is not surprising because this is the demo image. So I wonder how will it work with my image. So let's select something. Let's go for my profile picture. Everybody's familiar with that picture, and it's quite small. So let's see how it looks like larger. Oh, and let's downscale it. And by the way, once you submit a new image, please allow 2 or 3 minutes for everything to update and load, and only then try upscaling it. So let's go ahead and upscale it to ×2. Okay, that's nice. You don't see much pixelation in here, which is great. How about ×3? It's nice too. Okay, ×4. Okay, so the application is doing everything it promises to do. Now, in the particular case of portraits, or maybe my particular picture, I don't know if this application is dealing with it better than Photoshop. In the case of the butterfly, for sure. I think it's a very nice alternative to Photoshop upscaling. So if you're not skilled with Photoshop, or if you don't want to pay for it, this VMagnify application will do the trick. Now, in terms of code, we will navigate to VMagnify and then vmagnify.py, where we will find an example of an abstract class. That a lot of people were asking me about abstract classes as well, so this gives you a nice example to refer to. In addition, we will also navigate to app.py, where we will see that the Flask application I referred to earlier is actually a Dash application. Now, Dash is built upon Flask, and it has a special way of doing things. So if you're interested, if you'd like to see how you can apply it on your own application, definitely have a look at this project. Next, we have the FireEye team, which created FireScan. Now, FireScan is a web service that checks just how secure a website is. Now, there's not a lot of information in the documentation, but we have something here that is arguably even better. We have a link to a live application hosted on Heroku. So let's just navigate there, and then I'll show you how to run it from your computer. So once we are inside FireScan, we will type a URL. Let's see what they have to say about YouTube. And there you go. We can see there's not a lot of alerts. These are just low-risk alerts, nothing significant. But we can see details about each of these alerts here below in the table, which is really, really nice. Now let's verify that it differs from site to site. So let's select Instagram.com. And there you go. We have a different number of alerts. We have different alert details. So yeah, everything seems to be working really, really nice. Now, one thing I've noticed is if we are selecting a URL of a smaller site, for example, my blog, let's go for pythonsimplified.ca. And yeah, we're getting an application error, which probably resulted in a timeout error. So there you go. Here's a challenge for you guys. I would love to see how secure my blog is. I'm sure it is not as secure as YouTube or Instagram, but I'm very curious. So if you have time, only if you have time and if you have the patience, definitely see how you can scale your application to smaller sites, such as mine. Now, to run file scan locally, we will copy the path of the folder. We will specify it in our terminal following a cd command. And then once we are in the correct folder, we will type set. By the way, if you're using Linux, instead of set, you need to type export. It's a different command for your operating system. So set flask _ app equals main, which I believe is the name of the main file. Yep, there you go, main. And then we will type set flask _ env as in environment, and we will set it to development. And then lastly, we will type flask run, and we will navigate to our 5000 port. So localhost 5000. Cool, and here's our fire scan. Zooming out once again, and let's see if it works from our computer. So let's do the same. youtube.com. Boom. Okay, so everything is fully functional. Good job, you guys. Now, in terms of code, I highly recommend to check out scan.py, which includes all the logic behind the security scan. So this might help you with securing your own website. Now, in the realm of navigation, we have the Ramroad team, which created a Pygame application that generates a random maze along with one random entry point and one random exit point. And every time we restart the application, we get a completely different maze in return. So let's once again navigate to the project folder, and we will then type python main.py. And there you go. Here's our beautiful maze, and here's our points. Cool, now try to remember how it looks like, and let's restart this application and we will see a completely different maze. Okay, there you go. The points are in a completely different place, and the maze itself has also changed. And no matter how many times we will rerun this maze, we will get completely different results, which is really, really cool. So you guys have done a really good job with using randomness. And if you're curious of how they were able to achieve such large degree of randomness, I highly recommend to have a look at maze.py, and in particular, their generate grid method. And last but not least, we have the CyberSpider project, which is a website dedicated entirely to cybersecurity news. Now let's go ahead and navigate to this link, which the guys have provided us in the README. And oh, wow. Look at these fonts and look at these beautiful colors. This is exactly my taste when it comes to design, so I'm giving you 10 out of 10 for design. You totally nailed it. Now let's see some of the pages. Let's take a look at the About page. Okay, this is not a very conventional About page, but I'll forgive you because you have a link to Python Simplified here. How about the News page? Okay, now this is very impressive, you guys. So what they've done is they've used an API. They didn't navigate to all these websites and pulled out all kinds of articles from them. They didn't hard code everything. They have automated it by using an API service. So if we navigate to some of these links, cat printer, it's interesting. And this one returns a GitHub repository. Somebody else, this is very cool. Let's test another article. How about this one? And it leads to a different website. So there are multiple sources from which these articles are being pulled from. So good job, you guys. Now let's see the last page, resource, with some more links to Python Simplified. And yeah, cool. So we are dealing with a fully functional website. Now let's have a deeper look. Now in terms of code, some of you may have noticed that this time we are dealing with a JavaScript application, and specifically a Next.js application, which I believe is using React. Now, React is what allows Instagram and Facebook to be extra scrollable. So basically, instead of loading all the information at once, we are loading the information as we scroll. Cool. So I don't know if it's very significant because I haven't been using Next.js much. I've been only using Node.js in the context of JavaScript, but I've noticed something very cool. So in the components folder, we can see that each component was designed on a separate page. So the header is separate from the footer. And there you go. It is using React. So if you're interested in JavaScript, in Next.js, in React, definitely check out CyberSpider. Now, thank you so much for participating in our very first Code Jam, and thank you for all the feedback you've been providing us throughout your experience. We took your feedback and we've used it to design the most incredible upcoming Code Jam in the world. We will announce the dates soon. We already have sponsors. We already have some amazing prizes, which you guys will absolutely love. So yeah, stay tuned and see you soon.